Here's what Trimble writes. That was fun. I watched the entire interview with Sandra. John looks really good, very fit and handsome. He sure has aged well. And of course, he has tons of smart observations to share with your students. One highlight for me was his description of his wind turbine experience, making that exhausting climb 300 feet to the top, then opening the hatch, stepping out on the tiny platform, and observing the world from its singular vantage point. I was right there with him. And if you watch the whole video of John Schwartz talking, he talks about putting the reader in the scene. It's like Jerry Spence again, create a mind movie. And Schwartz had to write about what it was like to climb up this 300-foot tall turbine uh, device and climb out into the open air. Very, very vivid description. But here's the part I'm interested with you. Trimble writes, but I was shaking my head. No, no, no. When he remarked that I hadn't much liked his writing during our class. I have no idea how he got that idea. I always considered him one of my top writers. So I said, thanks for the illuminating response, John Trimble. Would you mind if I shared this with Mr. Schwartz? I think it would be palliative for him to understand that he misunderstood your admiration for his writing. Palliative is a big word, which means it would make him feel good. Like when people are dying, they have palliative care. They just load them up with, morphine or something. Okay, we just want to make them feel better. So Trimble wrote, I wrote to John Schwartz, thought you'd be interested in Trimble's response to the recording of your intellectual panhandler comments. He gave me permission to share this with you. And John Schwartz wrote, oh my gosh, I didn't want to upset him. I loved the class, every minute of it. I did get the impression that he thought my writing was somewhat lazy, but I never held it against him. My wife had the same impression, though she might have gotten it from me. And I wrote back to Schwartz saying, Phyllis, my wife, thought I should send you the email, and I think she was right. I would describe Trimble as enlightened in all the important ways. And then I have a quote, which is the name of a country western song I love called, There Ain't No Future in the Past. And I said, what's happening here is beautiful to me, a teacher being taught. And Schwartz writes back to me, and I'm grateful to you. Or if Schwartz writes back, I'm grateful to you. And I said, I'm grateful to you, as are my current and past students. Now, all of this is to let you know, and I think I recorded. Yeah, I did. Is to let you know that, I mean, for me, and I hope this happens for you, that this experience of our being in this writing class, of me teaching it, is just part of a continuum of constant learning. I mean, you guys know I do Tai Chi. The Tao, T-A-O, is just the flow of everything. And my boss knows what I mean when I tell her I don't believe in courses. I mean, a long time ago, she's like, what do you mean by that? I said, a course is just like a moment in your life. I mean, it's like the idea of like, well, I'm done with that and now I'm going to move on. That's not the way it works. So, John Schwartz, after all these years, how interesting. And I remember he talked about this to me on the train like several years ago. He said, John Trimble never really liked my writing. He was wrong. John Trimble loved his writing, but he had the wrong idea. And I feel, like I said, I feel like it's up to be in a position where I can kind of like straighten these things out with these guys is very cool. I mean, I get paid for doing this. Hello. So back to you guys as writers. It has to do with how you feel about yourselves. Now, John Schwartz is a New York Times writer. He's made his living at it. He's written books, and he's still got that insecurity. Dan Barry's got it. Alice Sebold has it. Tina Kelly has it, believe it or not. So you have it, I have it. And it's something that, it's something to address, and it's important. And Tina Kelly talked about this. It's really important that you have people around you that are going to be supportive. And when I give you back your papers and say, oh, you need to do more analysis, and don't just summarize what you say, but analyze what your summary means in relation to the thesis, like how is William Zinsser creating credibility in college pressures, rather than just say, oh, William Zinsser says there are 4 pressures, the economic, parental, self-induced, and peer pressures. But to say, when he says that, he shows that he understands the pressures that are going on, which makes him credible. And that's responding to the thesis. So, it's all, things that you guys can continue to get really excited about, thinking and writing. And also, you've now kind of met John Schwartz a little bit, but you definitely met Tina Kelly. So I will stop the recording with that and add